everyone, Kamina the coach here. Welcome back. If you're following along, then you saw my last video where I'm looking for my birth family. And so I'm gonna switch gears for a while. I still have the Tanzanian job on the burner. I haven't heard back. I heard from them when we came back from break from New Year's that they're still waiting on my teaching license. Still up in the air. So I'm just gonna change gears for a little bit. I was gonna do a series on happiness, but so my birthday was January the 16th, and my gift to myself was 2 DNA kits. By the way, don't buy CRI. I got duped. It really doesn't give you any information at all. It was a excuse me, pointless $200. I will get my medical history or my medical DNA profile as much as they're going to give it, but it was really a wasted $200. I bought a family tree DNA kit, and they're the oldest DNA company, but not the largest. So Ancestry has the largest DNA pool. I bought the kits on a whim. So now that sorry, my heater's on. It's hot. So I bought the tests on a whim without without educating myself properly, which I regret. So please don't make the same mistake if you're in this situation. So if you don't know, I was apparently adopted at birth. I was raised by an all-white family who tried to pass me off as theirs. They had a son already when they adopted me who's 10 years older than me, who molested me. My adoptive mother allowed me to see a man who was much, much older than me, and then she started sleeping with him and ended up ultimately kicking me out of the house because we were fighting over this man. And I was about 14 when that happened, and she actually called the police to have me escorted out of the home, even though I was 14 years old. So again, that systematic racism. What else could it be? I was a 14-year-old child, but I was a 5'11" black child, and she was a 5'9" white woman. And the police were like, "You have to leave," and I'm like, "Where am I gonna go?" And they're like, "We don't care. You just have to get out of here." So, anyways, childhood wasn't great. My adoptive father has succeeded in drinking himself to death. He died in 2008. My adoptive mother killed someone drinking and driving because she was so psychotic. I really believe she has some psychosis anyways, because she was so crazy about this man. So she got really, really drunk one night, tried to drive to her mother's house, and killed herself on the way there. I think ultimately she killed my grandmother as well because she was really stressing my grandmother out, my adoptive grandmother. So I'm really exhausted with people. You try to find your family. And I think that TV really skews how this stuff goes, and the TV presents, this warm, fuzzy situation tied up with a bow. But a lot situations are not perfect, right? And there's just no telling what I was going to find. So I didn't find out till I was 32 that I was adopted, and it was purely by accident. One of my adoptive mother's school friends emailed me on Facebook. I don't know if she was doing it on purpose or what, but it's because of her that I found out for sure. Now, my adoptive mother's sister had already let on. My adoptive brother's old girlfriend, had also said that he said that I was adopted. So, but I had never heard it from my parents' mouth, and I had, other than my skin color, I had never seen the proof. Well, the way she defined my skin color, eventually she just said she had had an affair with a black man, and her husband adopted me as his child, which is not true. So anyways, so a turbulent past that has resulted in me being alone, which I've been okay with up to a point, but now I recognize, well, I thought here that I was okay with it, but I now know here I haven't been okay with it. I'm not okay with it. So I've officially begun the search for my birth family. So like I said, I bought that Ancestry kit. I did some genealogy research and all these things, and it led me to a group called Search Angels on Facebook. Um, I tried to kind of outline my story, and I got attacked pretty quickly about race not being important. No, a woman said nationality is important. You were loved or something like that. I was like, well, I'm not talking about nationality. I'm American. I was like, what I'm talking about is race, and race is important when we're talking about who raises you. So if you're a white person wanting to adopt a black child, or a black person wanting to adopt a white child, or if you're a person who wants to adopt a child who is not your race, they make you go like sign extensive forms, like fill out your plan of how you're going to expose this child to their race of birth, because they need to be exposed to their culture. So it was really offensive. The woman said that, and I was like, and I basically said that. I was like, it's about race, and I deserve to have been raised, but, or at least been aware and exposed to my race of origin. And the whole group, consisting of mostly old white women, jumped on me and told me I was being rude and she was just offering support and she didn't mean it like that. Guys, I'm so tired of hearing white people say, I didn't mean it like that. If you're a white person watching this, I love you. I do. But please don't say when a black person corrects you, I didn't mean it like that. It doesn't matter how you meant it. The road to hell was paved with good intentions. You can be well-meaning and it still come off wrong. So I didn't check her in a nasty way. I was like, you just need to be more cognizant when you address people of color. And the whole group jumped on me. So, which is why I don't do groups other than my group. So I have Americans of color teaching abroad, Black Americans, overseas jobs for Black Americans, brothers and sisters in Mexico. And these groups are going to be in love always. It's all the comments are in love, or I'm gonna delete it. But anyway, so my search angel contacted me, and she's an amazing 70-something-year-old woman in Canada. She is the bomb. She's amazing. We had a really fabulous conversation. So for those of you who are in Texas, Dallas County, if you are adopted, go ahead and file your petition to get your record now, because they have a really great group of judges, some adopted, some have adopted children. Reach out, because it's really easy to get your documents there. So I was born in Dallas, but apparently, or it seems, I wasn't adopted in Dallas. So my birth certificate does say that I was born in Dallas, but I was not adopted in Dallas. When my adoptive family went and got me, they were actually living in Odessa, Texas at the time. So it's most likely that my paperwork was filed in Odessa, which is Ector County, which is almost pointless to try to file, because the United States system isn't set up to be adoptee friendly. It's just not. They make it very, very difficult for adoptees. And, you know, a lot of this was because in that time, there were a lot of shady adoption practices in the time when I was adopted. A lot of mothers were lied to. There was a lot of cash for babies. Mothers were even told their babies had died. So it made sense to seal all these records. And the birth mothers were also told that they would never ever find this child again unless the child looked for them. So they sealed those records up really tight. I'm not sure. So the only person that they're really protecting was the people that were making money off the adoptions, which is just nasty. So my search angel referred me to the courts. I called the courts. The court did a search. The courts couldn't find my paperwork in their search, so they referred me to another woman who is actually actively involved in the legislation surrounding adoption in Texas. And wow, she was able to find my records, and I hope I don't start crying. She was able to find my record. Well, she was able to find record of my adoption while we were on the phone, and that yes, indeed, I was born in Dallas, and that I probably was adopted privately, like using a lawyer. So that was probably pretty shady as well. Whew. So in between the time that I talked to this woman, I'd reached out to my adoptive brother, remember, 10 years older than me, who also molested me. And just from talking to family friends, apparently he also molested, I'm not sure, it was my cousin, but another young male around my age. I'm assuming my male cousin, because she said it was somebody I knew, but she was going to respect his privacy. So I'm assuming my youngest cousin, he also molested him. So I reached out to him without any kind of molestation accusations. I just said, hey Tad, this is Kamina. I just wanted to know if you remembered anything about my adoption. I've just now confirmed several years ago. He blocked me on Facebook, and it took me a second to recover from that. And I'm not really sure why, because we haven't talked in years. But again, remember, I say that I'm okay here because logically I'm okay, but here is where the problem actually lies. So, what? I ordered so after talking to my new search angel, I am going to have to, she was like, you really need Ancestry. I really couldn't afford it, but I went ahead and bought an Ancestry kit yesterday, so I'm waiting for my Ancestry kit to get here. And she is actually connected to the DNA, the woman who does the DNA to search for murderers for the police. How cool is that? Because not cool that she's searching for murderers for the police, murderers and rapists. What's really cool about it is that she's able to use this woman as a resource. So when I get my DNA results back, even if it doesn't show a brother, a sister, a mother, a father, grandfather, grandmother, she can still do a triangulation and create a family tree for me to help me find my immediate blood family. So that overshadows my brother blocking me. What it does make me realize, because I've only ever really been interested in meeting my Black family, what it has brought to the forefront of my mind is how hurt I have been by white people in my life, and the white people who should have been taking care of me, the white people who should have loved me. So I saw my adoptive father, after I knew I was Black, so I was like 14, call my adoptive mother, a nigger lover. Pardon me, I should have used the N-word. It was like getting punched in the chest. I heard my mother's grandmother on more than one occasion speak of Black people just in general, like, oh, they used to come up and work on the fence, and she would use the N-word just in reference to Black people. My adoptive father said that there was only one Black family in the town where he grew up, and they affectionately, to his face, called the man of the family N-word Tom. His mother, my adoptive father's mother, had the Aunt Jemima cookie jar. And so my ex-husband's very, very dark-skinned, beautiful man, and he and I went to go see my adoptive grandmother, my adoptive father's grandmother, and she almost said the N-word cookie jar in front of him even. And she caught herself. That's just how normal it was for them. Especially when the adoptive mother called the police. Was really, really hard to see as a young person, and I didn't even really realize then what was going on, this racial profiling kind of thing. So the racism has been so insidious and so ingrained in this group of people that were supposed to love me. I'm terrified of meeting my white family. I'm sure that I'm biracial. I'm almost positive I'm biracial. I would be very pleased to be a bunch of versions of African American, but let's face it, I'm probably biracial, and my mother is probably white, and it scares me. It scares me. It's a lot to deal with, especially right now in the polarization of the United States. I have very, very few white friends left, and probably only one that I can speak with candidly, who I can speak with about how I feel and what racism makes me feel like, and how I don't feel like I belong anywhere. So there's only one white person I know who I feel like I can have this kind of conversation with, and I've actually reached out to her to ask if we could have a conversation, if we could have a dialogue about this, because my new search angel encouraged me to really look at why. Because I told her I'm not really interested in my birth mother, and I'm not really interested in her family. And she said, why? No, she didn't say why. She just, I could tell it was interesting to her. She was like, that's very interesting. She was like, I would encourage you to search inside of yourself about why. Well, I mean, on the surface, again, I know why. I never fit in with my white family. And then as a biracial black person, I'm not really fully accepted with open arms into the black community either. So I'm hoping that I would be accepted into my black biological family. But what I didn't allow myself to look at the time was there was something a bit more insidious, and that was insidious is that fear of racism, and that fear of hurt because of the racism. And if you're a white person watching this, I would even challenge that a lot of people, everybody, no one, unless you are an extremist, no one believes that they're racist. And that's the problem. It's something that we have to confront again. We have to be able to admit it and confront it again and again. We all have bias. All have bias. So it's something that we have to acknowledge and face it again and again and again. So I have outwardly faced it, and I give people the respect that I know that they deserve, but I haven't inwardly faced it because it is actually a part of me. So that's what this video is about. I'm kind of confessing that fear, going on to the next step, and I will keep you updated on this journey. I'm terrified, so send me some love, light, peace, and joy. And I'm sending you as well love, light, peace, and joy. And until next time, Kamina the Coach. Peace.